But we begin with lawmakers continuing to fear for their safety as ongoing security threats at the U.S. Capitol continue to surface. D.C. police arrested a 71-year-old West Virginia man near the Capitol yesterday with a gun, 20 rounds of ammunition, and stop the steal paperwork in his car. Court documents show that Dennis Westover allegedly told police that he was, quote, concerned about the honesty and integrity of the election. He was charged with carrying a gun without a license, possession of unregistered ammunition, and unlawful possession of a firearm, according to an incident report obtained by NBC News. Meanwhile, a bipartisan letter addressed to House leadership yesterday warns that they are easy, quote, targets as personal information, including their home addresses and event schedules, are all public. They are asking for increased funds to this year's member representational allowance, citing that increased threat level. And the acting chief of the U.S. Capitol Police is calling for permanent fencing around the Capitol building and is also requesting, quote, availability of ready backup forces in close proximity to the Capitol, something that wasn't there on January 6th. But a fence won't keep out those who are already allowed into the building. Here's House Speaker Nancy Pelosi speaking yesterday.
What exactly did you mean when you said that the enemy is within? What exactly did you mean by that?
It means that we have members of Congress who want to bring guns on the floor and have threatened violence on other members of Congress. What I'm concerned about is the Republican leadership in the House of Representatives, who is willing to overlook, ignore those statements, assigning her to the Education Committee when she has mocked the killing of little children at Sandy Hook Elementary School, when she has mocked the killing of teenagers in high school at the Marjorie Taylor Douglas High School. What could they be thinking, or is thinking too generous a word for what they might be doing? It's absolutely appalling.
What Speaker Pelosi was referring to is the recent outcry Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene faced after video surfaced of her following and harassing David Hogg, the gun safety activist who survived a massacre at his high school in Parkland, Florida.
I'm a gun owner. I have a concealed carry permit. I carry a gun for protection for myself, and you are using your lobby and the money behind it and the kids to try to take away my Second Amendment rights. How did you get over 30 appointments with senators? How'd you do that? If school zones were protected with security guards with guns, there would be no mass shootings at schools. And he's a coward. He can't say one word because he can't defend his stance.
A coward who was in a school shooting. And again, this person actually said that that was a hoax, that Parkland was a hoax, that it was a false flag, that it was a hoax. Mika, I mean, we've talked to so many of the parents who've endured the worst pain that any parent can endure. This is not just a one situation deal here. She's also suggested that 2017, the shooting in Las Vegas, the deadliest in the country's history, targeted a mostly conservative audience of country music fans, since it was part of a plot from gun control activists. Greene has also written in blog posts that the debunked Pizzagate conspiracy theory, which claimed there was a satanic child sex trafficking ring at a Washington pizza restaurant, might be real. And in a 2017 blog post, Greene said the deadly white supremacist rally held in Charlottesville that year was an inside job to further the agenda of the elites. Greene has also claimed that a plane never crashed into the Pentagon on 9/11 and said that former President Barack Obama is a Muslim. And then there's this. Downed power lines was the cause of California's deadliest wildfire 2 years ago.
when the campfire killed 85 people. But as the fire raged, Marjorie Taylor Greene reportedly wrote in a Facebook post that, quote, "There are all these people who have said they saw what looked like lasers or blue beams of light causing the fires, and pictures and videos." That, according to a screenshot of that post, was shared by liberal media watchdog Media Matters. The post also falsely speculated that Pacific Gas and Electric and then Governor Jerry Brown were involved in causing the fire. It also must be just a coincidence that the fires are burning in the same projected areas that the $77 billion high-speed rail project is to be built, which also happens to be Governor Brown's pet project, Greene wrote, according to the screenshot. She's got lots of videos about January 6th, Joe, where she talks about getting ready for this big insurrection. She did a video at the White House.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even gotten to those yet, which actually are the most relevant to what Nancy Pelosi said. She had a video at the White House talking about whipping people up for January the 6th. We of course, have, which we'll show you, we have her ad where she's holding an AR-15, and she has 3 women of color who are, and what a coincidence that is, that are members of Congress that she says she's going to target, that she's coming after, that obviously causes grave concern. Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.